news this morning, inflation has increased to above 10%, according to official figures just released by the Office for National Statistics, showing the cost of living crisis getting worse.
Yeah, we've got 10.1% being reported. It comes after it emerged that pensioners could be left more than £400 out of pocket next year after the PM dropped the guarantee to increase state pensions in line with inflation. That's hanging in the balance. Jonathan Swain is at Westminster. So, Jonathan, prices continue to go up and up and up.
They do. Life is getting more and more expensive from all of us. All our viewers will know that. When you go and fill up the car, when you go to the shops, and of course with those extortionate energy bills at the moment, it is at 10.1%. That matches the figure from July. It is, though, at a 40-year high. To give you some kind of context, a year ago, inflation was standing at 4.2%. We all thought it was high then because the bank's target rate is 2.5%. Potentially, it could go even higher. To give you some idea of inflation, it is measured, of course, by this well-known basket of goods. They're things that we spend every day on, and it changes to reflect what we spend our money on. For example, antibacterial wipes have recently been added, meat-free sausages, and even more sports clothing is in there to reflect how we all live our lives. Well, look, this inflation figure is having a big impact, isn't it, on the politics here and what's happening over there at Downing Street as well. The Chancellor told ministers the other day that they need to find £40 billion worth of cuts. This has led to a lot of speculation that triple locked pension may well be scrapped. It is not policy yet. The Tory party, certainly the backbenchers, want to keep this pension promise because they made it in the manifesto in 2019. Even 2 weeks ago, Liz Truss said she would not touch the pension promises. Well, this is all going to give more ammunition to Keir Starmer today at Prime Minister's questions. It's the first time that Liz Truss will come to the Commons since the Chancellor ripped up her economic plan. We now have inflation, as I say, at 10.1%. All these numbers really matter.
Tea and cake with a friend, an important part of the routine when you're retired. But for Kathleen and Christine, like everyone else, it's getting far more expensive.
Wherever you go, everything seems to have doubled and tripled in price.
I know what it's going to be, more or less, when I get to the checkout. And it's 3 times more than it was a few years ago.
Now, as inflation soars, they face yet more uncertainty, as the government's indicated it might abandon a pledge to keep pensions in line with those rising prices.
Abandoning the triple lock pension will mean that pensioners are left with less in terms of their state pension once inflation is accounted for. And this is yet another screeching U-turn from the government.
In a constituency that turns from red to blue at the last election, such broken promises leave pensioners with a bitter taste.
It's a mess. And whatever the Conservative Party have done, they've made a real hash of it.
Tory MP Maria Caulfield has already made it clear that she won't go along with any vote to end the so-called triple lock on pensions. And her fellow Conservative, Steve Double, agrees.
Does the Prime Minister have your full support?
Good evening. It's rather chilly, isn't it?
Well, the climate certainly felt chilly for the Prime Minister, from some MPs arriving at Downing Street for drinks last night. Things aren't looking warmer, though, among party members. A new YouGov poll shows more than half think the Prime Minister should resign. A week, as they say, is a long time in politics.
The Prime Minister said, "I'm not planning public spending reductions." Is she going to stick to that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And for Liz Truss, the last one has seen her entire political programme, including that promise, completely shredded. As she prepares to face Sir Keir Starmer again later, the numbers both in the economy and among her own party are looking ever more grim. Jonathan Swain, Good Morning Britain.